Cool. So, it's going to be pretty simple. Just going
Uh-huh.
to ask you questions about your experience. Yeah, just kind of give like there's no right or wrong answers. It's just, people listening towards, where you were before, where you are now, the process of going through the program, um, some of the highlights that you took from it. And yeah, we're just going to dive into it. Ready?
Cool.
Well, so you can introduce your name and, you know, where you're from and, in terms of like your background, where you came from and you can start there.
Yeah, so my name is Tetevi Tete. Originally, I was born in Togo, Lomé, Togo in Africa. Moved to the States when I was about 4 or 5. Lived in New York till I was in the second grade, then moved to Georgia and been here ever since. As far as my professional background, my technical background started at AT&T. So I worked as a cable technician for a few years, and then I, talking to some uncles and some friends, IT is always coming up, especially African community, man. You're gonna hear IT like 100 times every party or whatever. QA is what I gravitated towards. Um, Coming out of AT&T, I really wanted to go into like networking because that seemed like a natural progression from tech. So they had classes for Cisco, getting certifications, AWS, not AWS, but A plus, the CompTIA stuff. Then I found QA, found like a little Indian boot camp, did that for a while. Nothing really moved from there. So then from I think in 2019, I was looking to leave AT&T, and my wife was doing hair at the time. One of her friends was working at AWS, and basically she was like telling her, you should get into AWS. So I started doing some research, and of course, first thing that comes up is certifications. So I got the Cloud Practitioner in 2019, and then started studying for the Solutions Architect Associates. Uh, Failed out the first time, finally got it towards the end of 2019, and but nothing, no jobs, nobody else. I felt like as soon as I got that you passed, the offers was gonna start flooding in, and that was not the case.
And so,
Uh,
what would you say is like the key difference between what you experienced before in the other program and for this program? So, yeah, what do you think was, one thing that really made a difference? And then one or two things is up to you. Um, and with this program, and what's that comparison? What's the difference?
I would compare this program to so I went through an actual boot camp for QA after like the mini boot camp. So I took a careerist. So I paid for careerist, and it was fair. Like the technical side of it was structured, I would say similar. It was all live classes though, so sort of like how Felipe does Mondays,
Yeah.
Tuesdays, and yeah. So it was live classes, and then like Saturday it was like a really long Python class.
Mm.
So as far as that I would say we're about the same. Um, But the other side, because I remember when we spoke, I was like, I've been through a boot camp before, and
Yep.
even my wife would ask was like, okay, the one key that we're missing is like actually getting a job, like getting interviews and getting recruiters to reach out. So their thing was, hey, apply for 30 jobs a day and just keep applying. And that applying for jobs is exhausting.
Yep.
So and that was one of the stipulations. Like if you was trying to get your money back, they wanted to make sure that you apply for 30 jobs, kept a spreadsheet for at least a year. And I was like, yo, a year of applying and may or may not get a job. So that right there is the one key outlier. The way the program is structured here, where there's like a pipeline basically. Like there's a proven thing like, hey, we will get recruiters to reach out to you. And Honestly, once you upload your resumes for the first time, your phone is going to be blowing up. Your phone's going to be blowing up. Your LinkedIn will blow up. Indeed, I had a few people reach out from Indeed. Um, and that I think that's one of the key differences.
Okay, okay. And one of the things I talk about is I've joined other boot camps, and they teach you the knowledge and project stuff like that. But one of the main things that they don't teach you is how can you systematically get recruiters to reach out to you, and then also position yourself as one of the top candidates on any job interview, doing the interview prep, the mock interviews,
Right.
to be able to communicate effectively the technical experience that you've gained from the program. And I feel like that's one of the missing key pieces. And from my experience when I did the boot camp, and I wanted to make sure that was in this program when I did build
Right.
it. And so how do you feel about the interview prep section? Do you feel like that helped or not? Based on like, your past experience in the boot camp. Like, yeah, how do you feel about that second portion of this program?
I feel like it did help. They also had interview prep, so they would pretty much give you like questions that you may get asked, and then they give you the answers, and they'll have you pretty much go through the reps, basically go through the reps, and then you have a coach, so you will get with your coach, and then you'll do a mock interview with your coach, and the coach will pass you.
You talking
If
about
if you
for mine or for their
for
program?
theirs for
Okay.
theirs. One thing I would say is that was really different with your program is the recorded interviews. Primarily your recorded interviews. So it was like a few key ones that I watched. The Teamworks one. I really like that one. The One Globe. I think that interview should be like it should be in the program. It should be a part of the program.
Noted, noted. Yeah,
Because that interview is one that's your first interview and that's your first job offer. But going through that interview, there was so many key points of the interview that is good to take away from, like
mm,
how to answer a question when you don't know the answer, and how do you frame that? How do you talk about how do you big up your skills or whatever? How do you talk to? Because that was more essentially, hey, I'm going to talk to you and tell you who I am as a professional.
mm,
Not as an engineer, but who I am as a person or as a professional.
mm.
And I think honestly, that's probably what got you the role because just what he said at the end of the interview was like, "Hey, I'm gonna find you something. Like, like I need this person to work here." So I think that should be like stamped, like watch this first before going through any of all the interview stuff.
Noted, noted. I'm gonna take that feedback and put that in.
Yeah,
Uh I I didn't even realize I forgot about that interview. I did that years ago, but yeah, that was my first interview, first offer, and then it was like I didn't know I probably knew like 5% of the stuff I know now. So
yeah.
yeah,
But
you
that's the way you
guys
answer those questions, though. Like the stuff you didn't know, you wasn't like, "All right, I'm about to fake the funk and just say some things." Like, nah, let me get back to you on that. I haven't done that, but I can learn, that but it's one of those things where if you've never seen an interview like that before, if you're not privy to interviews, because I feel like I interview really well, but seeing that was especially for this career path, I think that definitely needs to be people definitely need to watch that.
okay, okay. Yeah, I'll go ahead and make the changes probably today and
Yeah,
put that in there.
yeah,
Um I appreciate that.
yeah.
And what surprised you the most about working with us? Like, what's one thing you didn't expect when you joined the program?
Everybody is, especially you. I don't even know how you do it, but always
Mm,
available. People are always available. Like not just you, Felipe, and all the admins, but like just students. People I see people ask questions, and if Felipe or somebody else is not answering it, you might have a student be like, "Hey, did you try this?" or did you try this or whatever? Like, just people being available. Everybody's kind of like, pulling everybody up basically. So that's the I think that's one of the main things about the community or just having a community in general. Like you're not by yourself.
How do you feel like,
And
go ahead.
no, go ahead, go ahead.
I was gonna say, how do you feel like the difference between like actually having a community, people around you having the same goals, helping you, like you guys are together as opposed to like, like YouTube University. Nothing wrong
Uh-huh.
with that, but like,
Right.
what would you say is that difference? And do you feel like that actually helped? Um,
It 100% helps, man. Like I was learning this stuff by myself. And at times you'll get halfway through like I don't know, like a course or something on YouTube. And then you get that course fatigue where you're like, all right, well, I've learned this. Now I don't know where to go next. So I have to go do research. Be like, all right, I learned Docker, but they're showing me how to do Docker like locally.
mhm.
All right, so I got this thing containerized. Now what do I do with it? Like I didn't know anything about putting it in a Docker registry or a repository or okay, then a CI/CD pipeline to pull it from a repository and then deploy it on ECR from ECR to ECS or EKS or any of those things. So just showing you how to use Docker is not enough. Like how do these tools work? How do these tools and services work together? And that's the one thing about the course where how do we take the application and then we deploy it on AWS? Because we could talk all day about AWS. Everybody's like, okay, AWS, but what does it actually do? What are we doing with the services? And how do we pull all these services together? How do we, migrate a database? And what are we doing for that? You know, I think before I got here, I didn't know that there was that many flavors of Linux. You know, because I was like, okay, I know Linux, but dang, there's a lot of flavors of this, and
Yep,
then we go through that. We using Amazon 2 or 2023 or
you both.
Red Hat or Ubuntu or whatever. We're using a whole bunch of them, and we see, oh, okay, this package manager, the it's not gonna work with this one.
Yep.
Okay, okay, that's something you couldn't look for
Yeah.
in a
Yeah.
YouTube course, or you know what I'm saying? Like, so it definitely helps where someone has been through it and they know, okay, I've done this in practice on an enterprise scale. So I'm showing you exactly what you could possibly be working on. And then what I talk to you about the actual job offer is literally project one.
Yeah.
Project one, I took project one. I still have it saved in my documents. I asked ChatGPT, hey, I took that with the job description, and they said, okay, this really aligns. Put my resume in there. They gave me a bunch of interview questions that might be asked, and started just going reciting project one, and yeah, went from
How do you
there.
feel? How do you feel like the projects helped you? The actual projects that we give you in the program. How do you feel like that helped you on the interview? And then now that the job is pretty much project one, how do
Yeah,
you feel like that helped you get this offer letter and to prepare you for the job?
yeah, not just project one, but I spoke about other projects as well, and it was a panel interview, and then like the guy, he was a CIO. He was just like he literally like was like this the whole time. Like he wasn't even looking at the screen. I'm pretty sure he had a screen off to the side. So they asked him, hey, like, hey, Bill, you have any questions? He said, nah, man, everything you're saying, like your, Kubernetes, ECS, um, a lot of times we get people in here that, are interviewing and they're even interviewing exactly from the tools that we have in the job description, but you're naming stuff that we work with, but weren't in the job description. Like
Mm,
I told them I've done migrations using Terraform to provision and that wasn't Terraform wasn't in the job description at all. And I asked about Terraform. I asked about Ansible and I said, well, how are y'all manually provisioning these resources? And they was like, nah, we use Terraform, TerraGrunt, we use Ansible, they use all these things, but some of those stuff was not in the job description. So as I was speaking about those tools and those services, he started just picking things up. He said, "Okay, yeah, you know a little bit more than just reading the job description and trying to regurgitate everything you had on there."
Wow, wow, wow. Okay. And how did when did you do you remember when you joined the program and then when you got the offer letter? Do you know that time?
July,
July.
July to last week. Yeah,
Okay, so that's like, let me see, one, two,
I
three,
mean like
four.
6 months,
Yeah,
five,
about
six
6
months.
months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
And how much are you making right now? If you don't mind me asking.
I think like 65, 62 to 65.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And yeah, so that's about like 130 a year. And what would you say um for you specifically, is it 100% remote or on
Yeah,
site? Okay.
100% remote. Yeah.
And were you working on site before hybrid
Nah, I was working on site.
on
Yeah.
site? Okay.
hmm
Is this your first remote or is
First ever remote position.
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be a it's gonna be a shift because you're gonna wake up and you're gonna be at work. And so all
Right.
the prep that you need to do the night before or even, the morning of, like there's a lot of time and money from that you're gonna save by working remote. Wear and tear of your car, like there's a bunch of money that you're gonna save. Um, and even have more time.
hmm
Um, what do you how do you feel like this opportunity is like impacted you personally? You and your family, those around you.
Yeah, man, I told my wife, like, I've been trying to get in tech for a long time. And I got this joke. There's this Future song called Codeine Crazy.
Hmm.
And it's really a celebratory song, right? If you listen to like the words. And I played that song like 10 times back to back. I said, when I get an offer, I'm going to play the song. And I'm gonna keep playing it, you know. There's like two songs. It was that and then it was like a Rick Ross song, Tears of Joy.
Mm,
So those I was playing them back to back. Cause I mean it's one of those things like we've been through a lot, and we was like and at the core of it, money is not everything, but at the core of it, it makes things way easier.
hmm
And it's that, and then it's just like I told myself after my wife got laid off, it was a period of time where, it was really hard financially. And I told myself, I said, I will never, like once we got out of that and we played catch up for a while, I said, I would never, ever, ever be in a situation like that ever again.
mm,
So, so when I ran into you, I was like, we were kind of coming out of the catch up period. And now it's like, okay, now that we've finally caught up, now what? Because now we're back to where we were, but now I was like, now there needs to be I want more out of life, and getting that it takes money. Like there's
hmm
no sugarcoating it. It takes money. So but yeah, overnight, man, I've already, I try to speak things into existence. I like to write down my goals. I'm listening to motivational stuff all the time. Like I keep my algorithm on. So that is never a point in time where even if I'm feeling down, if I open it up, it's gonna be something.
hmm hmm
And there's this one people at work be clowning me because he's like, man, you post that all the time. There's this one it's a Mike Tyson edit with Metro Boomin in the background. And it's a speech he had after a fight before he fought Lennox. And I watched that on the way to work. I watched that when it's just it gets you pumped, you know what I'm saying? Like, he's just talking about he's the greatest ever, and just getting in that mindset. And like anything you do is mindset.
hmm
So if Walt Disney, was it Walt Disney or is it no Henry Ford? If you think you can, and if you think you can't, like
They're both
you're
true.
100% correct. So if you can't do it, yeah, you're right. And if you can't do it, yeah, you're right. But the work has to follow the words too.
Mhm.
So my mindset was always I'm gonna get this. I'm
Mm.
gonna get it done because I got three kids and they ask for everything in the world, and I can't live paycheck to paycheck and get it done at the same time. So
There's gonna be the reason why I like to have these videos is people do watch these videos and they get inspired by people that's gone through this because
yeah,
typically people want to see like, okay, how did he do it? If he does it, like I know some people that join, I talk to them and they say, yeah, I got like three friends that want to join, but they want to see me go through the program first to see if I'm successful, and then they're going to join. So like people like
right,
to see, that security. But I like to have these because it gives people hope too as well. Your specific story, and you don't have to, you can share as much or as little as you want
right,
for this specific question, but for your specific story, you almost didn't join,
right,
right? And can you kind of talk about like that process of like, um, you don't have to say the specific amount of the program, but like,
yeah,
you know, in terms of your thought process, your mindset shift, like just the from before to after, because if you didn't join, you would not be here right now. Your life would not have
nah,
changed. And you wouldn't, it's about the opportunity, but you have this skill set for the rest of your life. You can get another
right,
offer letter,
yeah.
right? And
I'm actually
so,
working on two right now. So
oh yeah,
um,
two interviews, correct?
yeah, I got another gig that's for 75, and then I got called back for another one. It's for a Terraform specialist. But to answer your question, I think I think it's valuable. Like these videos are valuable because I watched two videos that kind of helped me join. One with Greg. I think it might be the same video. It was Greg and then Jonte Charles was on it as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but Greg's story is a little unique since like you could tell he didn't really need the program as far as like technical side or interview side. But Jonte had said something was basically like, if you have somebody that can, kind of give you the shortcut. And when I talked to you, I said that for me, the way I looked at it was like, those old algebra or math books, all the answers are in the back of the book.
Mm-hmm.
And that's really it. Like this course, all the answers are in the front of the book, actually. Like we're giving you the answers up front, and then we're showing you how to do it, you know. And he said that, if it costs 5K to make 50 or 10K to make 100, he said, I would take that every time. He said, like whatever it costs, like that difference, or whatever. He said, I would take that every time, especially if somebody's showing you step by step how to get to something. Like I would take that every time. And that was the one thing that kind of, because when we left our calls, I'm gonna think about it and go from there. But I also had the time element as well. And I was like, I need to be in a new position going into 2026. And now my original goal was to be out by September or October, but everything happens for a reason, so your timing and God's timing is two different things or whatever. So I think I feel like humbling needed to happen a few of those months. So I had my first interview I went into, I had my chest out and I got smoked. And because the hiring manager had his chest out. So we in there like this. And he was like, nah, you ain't about that. So it that kind of brought me down a little bit as far as like, all right, nah, I need to really understand what am I talking about? Because I could do the work, but you really need to understand what the hand is doing as well. Because you can go in there and do it, and that's I think that was one thing that was very crucial. Watching those videos got me to that point of joining.
and for, you know, because you had a full-time job while going to the
Hmm.
program. I remember you telling me like time is you don't have that much time. You said you have time, but you don't have that much time. You know, your husband, kids, things like that. You have priorities, and you didn't have the money, right? Like
Nah.
the money wasn't there, and that's the case for a lot of people. And so the reason why I want to, and I'm trying to find the best way to ask this question or to highlight this, like you did not have the money, you did not have the time. That's the majority of people that will probably watch this.
Hmm.
But like you still made a way.
Yeah.
Like you didn't let that challenge overcome you. You overcame it.
Mm.
And because of you overcoming it, it got to you where you are today, which
All right.
is having the skill set to be able to scale up to $500,000 a year,
Yeah.
$25,000 a month after tax. And so what would you tell anybody listening for that mindset shift to overcome those challenges because you did? And a lot of people, they let those challenges overcome them. And so that's the main thing I want to highlight. Like, what would you tell them? How did you do it? And what would you tell them?
I would say look at someone like Greg, right? Greg that, he did need the program. I wanted to highlight that because he did need the program, but he
He did
still
not,
he
correct?
did not. He did not need
Yes.
the program.
Mhm.
But it was one thing he said on his video, he was just like, he felt like he would have gotten a job eventually, but the speed was the one
Hmm.
thing. Someone
Hmm.
like him, right, where you could tell he's very disciplined. And honestly, to get through this program, you have to be extremely disciplined.
Hmm.
I mean, like very disciplined. Because you're looking at the investment. Cause me, I was looking at the investment and the time that I wanted to move. So you have to be extremely and not even just doing the work in the course, but still like studying by yourself. Like do project one, but then, go in there and level it up.
Hmm.
Like try doing it, blindfolded, meaning don't go to the source material. Just try doing it yourself. Like I did Tech Challenge 2. After doing Tech Challenge 2, watching Felipe do it, I went back in and did my own Tech Challenge, building, on top of that. Not using the same thing, but just seeing, okay, how are we gonna deploy this application on Kubernetes, you know? So there was a one you did with Netflix. So
Hmm.
I took what I found that tutorial, took that, and then I added monitoring to it,
Hmm.
and then I added Argo CD. Once I learned
Hmm.
Argo CD, I went and added that. Once Felipe taught GitOps, all of that, then I went back and said, okay, well, in a production environment, how do we access Argo CD without just from the CLI. Okay, then I went back and redid the project and put it in front of a load balancer.
Hmm.
So all of these are even after doing the reps, like physically, you have to like put in way more. Like you're giving us all the source, but you have to take what you're learning and build upon it yourself. I feel like that's the only way it's gonna stick.
Hmm.
If you don't have the discipline to really get in and like, okay, hey, I'll give you the answers, but if you don't have the discipline to go in and actually do the work outside of the program, you know, you may not get the results
Hmm.
that you're looking for.
Okay.
Because it's easy to sell. It's easy to sell the course and say, hey, if you finish the course, you're going to do this. But the just because that is simple, right? And you've heard just because it's simple doesn't make it easy.
Hmm. It's
Everybody
hard.
will tell you this the course is simple, but it is not easy at all. Like the what it's going to take you through mentally is that's one of the hardest parts right there. Try to troubleshoot. Okay, why is my cluster not working? Like, what's going on? And you in here
Hmm.
troubleshooting over and over and over again. Like, what's going to get you through that?
And
And that's one.
Do you feel like the actual course material, the way that I teach the program is like easy to understand? Do you feel like a fifth grader can go through it?
Very easy. Very easy. Like I said, simple to understand. Does not make it easy.
Yep.
That it does not make it easy. And I really I want people to really think about that. And I guess everybody you talk to from, I just saw all the other offer letters too. So I'm pretty sure they'll say the same thing. Like, hey, it's easy, but it's not easy. Like,
Hmm.
yeah. So, yeah, that's the one takeaway I would say. Like, if anybody is trying to join this or whatever, it's definitely worth the investment. But you have to, the time investment that you have to put in is actually going to be more than what you pay. And if you're not, I believe if you're not ready for that, then please, get to the point where your mindset is like, hey, look, it's either, he's like, if not this, then what? But it's this and it's this. That's it. For me, it was just this. There was nothing else. I tell my wife every time, like I work out all the time, and I was like, I can't start over. Like starting over, working out, like it's so difficult. I said I can
Hmm.
never start over again. And I was like, this was my last boot camp. I said I would not start over, learn anything new. I'm just not doing it. So this was it.
I tell people all the time, when they talk to me, like this is what it requires to be successful. Like if you don't have this, do not join because it's just going to be a waste of time and money.
Yeah.
And I always try to tell people before, yeah, I think I maybe told you that, but it's you know, you get what you put in, and like it's not rocket science, but that discipline factor and being consistent, like the results, obviously even before you join, I'm pretty sure you saw some, testimonials or
Mhm.
offers. But the proof is in the pudding. The stuff works, but the main problem, for most people in general, it's like, do you work? Can you run the system? The system works, but can you work the system? So, um, do you feel like you could have done this on your own? And I tell people you can, to be honest.
Yeah.
But do you feel like you could have done this on your own, or do you feel like any other programs could have gotten you to this level in terms of the curriculum, the coaching, accountability, the support, the proprietary system that we use to get recruiters to reach out to you,
Yeah.
just pretty much everything.
Um, being getting through the course, I think the technical side, I would have picked up things, but it would have been scattered.
Yep.
I wouldn't know how to piece everything together, right? Like if you go to YouTube University, like I said, you could learn this stuff, but there's certain things you wouldn't even know what to type in to even find, So it's very specific things that are taught in the course. Um, like I brought that up in one of my interviews, and I said, yeah, containerizing Jenkins, and then one of the engineers was like, "Oh, I never, you know, because the way Jenkins is installed on a server, like
Mm-hmm.
just the way it's installed, is just like,
The headache
yeah,
manually.
Java here, and then this. If this doesn't work, then this is not gonna work." But he literally said, "I didn't get this job," but he said that, okay, that's I'm gonna look into that because, but it like if I don't know if I could have found that
Mm.
on YouTube. Like installing Jenkins, you're getting the same thing. Like I've seen people use Bash script to launch it from, Terraform, and they put the script in, and but all of that's installing Java and then installing all of this other stuff, package manager.
Mm-hmm.
Nothing about containerizing Jenkins and going from there. So it's certain things in the course, especially when Felipe is teaching, it's certain aspects of the course that you're not gonna get from watching a video. Now, I
Mm-hmm.
haven't been through a DevOps course or a cloud engineering course. This is my first cloud engineering boot camp or whatever. So I don't know how any of those are, but based on like the QA boot camp I went through, like it wasn't that hands-on because it's a large class size. So it's like, okay, well, if we can't answer it here, put it in the Slack or send me an email. We'll follow up later, and you may or may not, get an answer. It's one of those things. Um, but yeah.
It's what would you, or like based on the results you've seen so far, like where do you see yourself in 6 to 12 months, both career wise and financially?
Um, so the immediate goal is to try to learn as much as possible in the first month. Um, I take a very accelerated approach to trying to like check off my goals. So that's my immediate goal, trying to come in and you know, I took something that Isaac said in the Wins channel about coming in and just getting like, just getting some quick wins, like very
Hmm.
quick, and
Hmm.
start making some noise and be like, okay, this guy's working. So that's my main goal. And then give it another month or two, unless these two offers, if I get one or two offers, then expedite that. Um, I definitely want to get back to trading, so that's my that's on my to-do list. Getting back to that, and honestly, I'm shooting for maybe one or two more positions. You
Okay.
know,
Let me know when
like
you're go ahead.
go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I was just gonna say, let me know when you're ready for trading and investing, because I'll add you to the junior year program.
Okay.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
I'm for the day trading floor, like because we trade on the floor. That's another program, but I'm gonna waive that for you. It's probably gonna be like the next three people that's ready. I'm gonna waive it.
Okay.
But after that, that's like a monthly fee and stuff like that. But it's
Okay.
dirt cheap compared to what you'd be making. But yeah, once you start making that money, once you get comfortable, we show you I kind of already explained it, but showing how to grow that money,
Right.
right? So in a
Yeah.
systematic way.
Yeah.
But not continue. You were saying something. I don't know if you remember.
Not yet, but in the 6 to 12 months, definitely want to because this is a contract position.
Hmm.
Um, based on what he said, originally they only two wanted to do it for 3 months, but he
Hmm.
said they like my resume and they like me. They like the way the interview went, so they had more work, so they extended it. And they said it might go
Wow.
from six to 12 months, which kind of brought the bread down a little bit because of like, since we're going out, we're gonna
Hmm. They
but
have a
that
budget.
was cool that was cool to hear that they was impressed by my background in my interview, and it was cool to hear it. So I really want to stick between 2 to 3 jobs, like as my max, and then trade in between that.
Yep.
Um, but between professionally, but personally, I want to buy a house next year, and then also want to take my family on a trip out the country. So those are my top two things personally I want to accomplish.
Okay. And um, two more questions. But if somebody's on the fence about joining the 1% University and working with me and my team, what would you tell them?
Yeah, I will tell anybody that's going to make an investment in anything that like you said before, you're willing to put in the work,
Yep.
because I don't want to mislead people into thinking you pay the money and you get the job.
Nope.
That's definitely not it.
Mhm.
You pay the money, but it's no one is carrying you around, so you still got to put in a lot of work.
Mhm.
And when I say a lot of work, everybody's work looks a little different based on who you are.
Mhm.
So I may come home and spend 2 hours reviewing a project or working on a project every night, and then on the weekend might put in another 2 or 3 hours. I may do that. Some people might take, like you said, you was up 6 hours plus into midnight, all of that every
Mhm.
day. So
Mhm.
it's all about who you are as a person. Now, if you study on Monday and you don't study again till Monday, it ain't this ain't it, man. You
Mhm.
maybe you gifted. Maybe you get all of all of it done on those 2 days, but everybody's different on how they approach. Um, like retaining this information and taking what you learned by hand and articulating it.
Yep. Yep.
That's that's the pipeline right there that's not really explained. So I think some people are technically gifted
Yep.
where they could learn this very fast, but they can't speak it.
Mm-hmm.
And most engineers I work with are like that. I'm a technician, so right now I work for a defense company, and a lot of technicians I talk to, they're they're fairly awkward, but like when you start talking to them about they know this stuff, sometimes they just can't articulate it,
Mm-hmm.
and I think that's the difference when you it was another interview you did where someone gave you some kudos on that.
Yep.
Uh, where the guy came in like it was for I think it was for Booz Allen.
Mm-hmm.
But after the lady stopped talking, it's like, hey, do you have anything? He said, nah, man, I'm just the way you're explaining it, the way like he was because even your expression, you was like, oh, okay. But he literally told you the way you're explaining this, he's never heard before.
Mm.
Or like to hear somebody articulate this the technical side like this. And a lot of those, I don't know if that's part of the program. A lot of your interviews, like I could cherry pick a few of them. A lot of your interviews should be like it should be required to watch.
Yeah,
Nah,
definitely.
like even if you didn't get the job, they should be like requirements.
If you wanna like if you know it off the top of your head, let me know. I'll definitely throw it in there.
One
Um,
globe, that's my number one.
mm,
Teamworks, all
yep,
rounds.
yep.
Teamworks all rounds. The Booz and Allen one. I don't know if you got the AWS one, but that's a good one.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a good
They
one.
would have gave it to me, but they pulled the contract. The contract stopped. But
Okay.
yeah.
But yeah, that's another good one. But yeah, there's a lot of them in there. So I was going through, and basically I was kind of like the way I was watching those, I wasn't watching all of them. I'll watch a few, and it's like, watching a movie. Like, all right, let me see the build up. Okay, this one hooked me, so I'm gonna finish it. So, but there's a few of them in there where, and I'm pretty sure there's more. But I think those are required. I think that's when once you're ready to start interviewing and putting yourself out there, I think a few of those are required to see how do you navigate, especially teamwork, because how do you navigate through multi step interviews?
Yep.
You know,
Yep.
how do you present yourself every time? Like, are you going to regurgitate the same thing you told the hiring manager, or
Hmm.
how do you present yourself? Okay, this is an interview where a team fit.
Hmm.
So it may not be tech heavy. It may not be heavy technical talk. So how do you present yourself as a professional? How do without speaking about tech, if that we're not talking about that, which I see how how do you approach that? How do you approach talking to the CEO? Like
Hmm.
all of it, you got to navigate differently. You can't. It's hard to say like you can't be you every time in all those stages.
Hmm.
But you have to know how to like kind of morph
Communicate.
into
Yep.
communicate and morph into okay, who am I talking to right now?
Yep.
Like the
Yep.
way I'm gonna talk to a technical recruiter on a phone interview and the questions I ask them, it's not gonna
Hmm.
be the same. I wouldn't ask the hiring manager a question you would ask the technical recruiter and vice versa.
Hmm.
Like asking a technical recruiter, okay, what do y'all use for provisioning infrastructure? I
Hmm.
don't know. Like you wasted your questions. Like save those questions for, you know, and also like the feedback you gave to Isaac on his interview and how to approach that. Hey, tell me about yourself. How do you
Hmm.
approach that? And how do you approach that every level?
Hmm.
And how do you approach it when you're ready to say, tell me about yourself, but they're like, we're gonna skip all of that.
Hmm.
Let's get right to it. And you're like, okay, I studied 3 hours about tell me about yourself, and now you didn't ask me.
Hmm.
So, because I had an interview like that, I was like, hey, we're gonna get right into it. So tell me about how he said, tell me how you will access persistent data from a Kubernetes cluster. And I was like, whoa. I was like, whoa, bro.
Right for the jugular.
I said, whoa, slow down, bro. I was like, I ain't even told you my name, man. So
Yeah.
I think those things are very important. I think especially if you haven't had a lot of experience interviewing, sitting in front of a panel.
Hmm.
Like I've sat in front of panels like in person.
Hmm.
And that's intimidating, but I don't know what it is about the computer, but sitting with four other people asking you questions, I don't know. It's a whole different pressure, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, some more eyes.
Yeah, it's a lot more eyes. And they're watching. They're like just like some people are just not asking anything. They're just sitting there watching. I'm
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
yo, so
What would you the last question, what is a 1% gem that you would give to anybody watching this? Now, a 1% gem is just any advice that they can actually take and apply to help them get to their goals. If somebody's watching this, you're most likely trying to make more money.
mhm.
But what would you tell them a 1% gem?
I think the main gem for me is mindset.
Mm,
Mindset is everything you do is going to be some kind of mind. Like you need. I watched a video the other day where I forgot the guy's name, but he said, as soon as you wake up, I'm gonna have a great day.
mm,
Just say that to yourself. Don't think about how hard it is to get out of bed. Just keep telling yourself, I'm gonna have a great day.
mm,
And that self-talk, I always stress the most important conversation you have is the ones with yourself.
mm,
That self-talk is extremely important because there's gonna be days where you're gonna have like extreme doubt. You're gonna be like, hey, I don't know. I don't know
mm-hmm,
if I'm gonna do it. But then you're like, okay, if not this, then what? You know. So my main thing to say to anybody is like, you gotta have that bulletproof mindset where there is nothing that is gonna deter you from this. Like absolutely nothing. And I mean like nothing. Unless you die. Like there should be nothing. I mean, it is crazy to say, but we have circumstances that will stall us. Things do happen, and you get into a car accident. Ain't nobody gonna be like, Felipe is not gonna show up at the hospital like, yo, why you ain't show up to class? Like, what's going on? Yeah, we on project two. What's going on, man? Like, but at the same time, like, I've seen people persevere through a lot.
hmm.
And I've persevered through things. You've persevered through things. Your story is documented. Like there's a lot of perseverance, and people are going through like it's hard out here,
Hmm.
and people are going through it, especially financially.
Hmm.
But it's that question you ask yourself, like, how long will I continue to go through X, Y, and Z? Well, how long am I gonna allow myself to go through X, Y, and Z? And um, you can't change people's minds. I think that's something you can like kind of, show them like, hey, this is the better way. People have to kind of like, all right, cool. Let me change my mind. But in changing your mind, then comes, the action behind it.
Hmm.
Because you could think it's positive if you want, but you can't lay up all day, eat potato chips and you know what I'm saying? Like,
You gotta
so
take action.
you gotta take action. It starts in the mind first.
Yep.
So the money is cool. 500,000, you could make that for sure. The money is
Hmm.
cool. But how do you get to that point? There is massive, there's a massive change in mindset. If you don't think that goal is even attainable,
Yep.
it's like I've seen people, and you've seen people trade and make 100,000 a day. The
Hmm.
other day, I seen a post dude made like 1 million in a
Yep.
day trading, and I'm
Yep.
just like,
Yep.
if you don't think that's possible, if you don't think you can make that money, then it's gonna be difficult for you to
Hmm.
do this or whatever. So,
Hmm.
and it's not a lottery ticket. It's not a get rich quick scheme.
Hmm. It's worth the
Can't get
opportunity.
rich. You can't get it quick, but but at the same time, there's a lot of work. And everybody's situation is different, Everybody's situation is different. You like you said, like your first interview, you hit it, got the job.
Hmm.
Some people might have went through 4 or 5 interviews. I think I went through like six, you
Mm-hmm.
know. So everybody's situation is different. And also there's an element of luck that might fall into that too.
My
But
interview, that was God himself.
yeah,
That was God.
but
So
right place at the right time. It could be luck, but what if you was like, all right, I'm not gonna, put my resume up right now, or I'm not gonna study this thing right now, or whatever, and somebody might reach out to you, or what if I like, all right, I apply for 25 jobs today. I'm not gonna do the last five. I normally do 30. That five, that five that you didn't do could have been one of those jobs.
yep,
You know what I'm saying? So you got to think about that. It's luck, but like you might get an interviewer that's just laid back, just chilling,
yep,
or you might get like somebody that's ready to take your head off,
yep,
but
yep. It
you
is what it
gotta
is.
you gotta go through all of it. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
go through all of it. So,
Mm-hmm.
but yeah, mindset is I think is critical
Okay.
for this program for
Mm-hmm.
anything you do. Mindset is very critical.
Okay. That was the last question.
Yeah.
I appreciate your time. This testimonial, I think a lot of people are going to watch this, take a lot of gems. Hopefully, anybody watching this, you're taking notes, taking gems.
Yeah.
And honestly, Tetevi's journey was, for me specifically, I was surprised that I didn't think he was going to join. He came back and said, "Hey, I found the money," and in the point where he didn't have the money, so
Yeah.
he found it because he saw the potential of what this opportunity can provide for him and his family, which it did. But he had to put in the work. So
Yeah.
um, only if you are committed, if you are serious, if you make this a priority, that's really what's required in the system to actually get these results. I don't promise results. No one knows when you're going to get a job offer, but
Right.
everybody that's implemented the system has consistently been able to get offer letters because they have the skill.
Right.
So I'm going to end it there. Thank you once again to Tetevi for joining. There's a lot of people that are going to watch this, and you're going to help them too as well. Maybe make that next step. Um, but if you're interested in learning more about the program, you can book a call below. And yeah, thank you so much, man. I appreciate your time.
No problem, man.
We'll talk soon.
All right.